our very special guests who will join us up here soon. First is Tamron Hall. Ms. Hall, as you probably know, is an award-winning TV host, journalist, and philanthropist. She has co-hosted and hosted multiple shows, including The Today Show, a live show on MSNBC, and Deadline Crime with Tamron Hall. She has hosted teacher town halls and has advocated for an end to domestic violence and illiteracy. She's been nominated for an Emmy Award and has been a Variety Power of Women honoree. And this September, she will start her new daytime talk show, The Tamron Hall Show. Ms. Hall was going, so let's hear it for Tamron Hall first. Now, she was going to speak with Mayor Baraka, but this morning he called and said that he had injured himself and has to stay at home all day today, apparently. So he's okay, he's gonna be all right. But in his stead, Ms. Hall will be speaking with Team Academy Principal Veronica Avery. Veronica started out as a teacher in the Newark Public Schools, eventually rising to the position of assistant principal. 6 years ago, she joined us, becoming a founding teacher at KIPP Academy, which quickly became one of the highest performing elementary schools in Newark. Since then, she has served as an assistant principal, an achievement director, and now principal of our flagship school, Team Academy. During her time at Team, the school has excelled on every metric, from our internal inspections of school culture to the student achievement scores. I think you'll find her as inspiring, as insightful as we all do. So please welcome Tamron Hall and Veronica Avery.
Let's go, B.
That is all my staff and my children. Yeah, they can't stay out too late. Our day starts pretty early tomorrow. So, welcome to Newark, Tamron.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
We are incredibly grateful that you are here today with us in our beautiful city that we are so proud of with all the progress we've made. Would love to know more about you and sort of like your journey to success and some of the obstacles you've overcome.
So let me first tell you, Veronica, for her crew over there, she was super nervous back there. And I said, we're just gonna wing this, so put your paper down. No, you're not the teacher leader today, I am. No, we're gonna have a natural conversation because my day just started. I've been up since 4 a.m., but my day just started because, Samir, are you here? Yes. Come on. So, Samir, he says to me, Samir says, hi, how are you? And my name is Samir, and what did you do? Samir, I knew I didn't wear my wedding ring for a reason. Thank you. You are adorable.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I don't think a gentleman has greeted me like that. Will you call my husband and tell him? All right, I know you've got some more to do, but I just wanted to say hi.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you. Ezra, like, come out. And then I was greeted before, Samir, Ezra, like, come out. So I came over and she says, hi, how are you? And he said, Miss Tamron. And I was like, oh my gosh, she calls me Miss Tamron. That's how I grew up in Luling, Texas. I had to refer to everyone as Mr. and Mrs. I could not call someone by their first name. And then you said to me, are you pregnant? And I said, I hope so. And that was a really big pizza. So this was the welcoming crew. So I knew I was in good hands, and that helped me not be nervous. You are amazing. She said, I'm 8 years old. I'm in the 3rd grade, and just told me her whole biography. I'm like, this is what you are producing here. This is, I can only hope that the little nugget in here turns out to be as amazing as you. So you made my day as well. Thank you. So Veronica, as we were saying,
yes.
You know, when people say the road to success, I always wonder, you know, really what that means, because I don't determine success by if I'm on television or not, or any of these things that I think sometimes the media and the magazines tell you is what is success. I feel like if you are unable, the sign of true power is the ability to help someone else. You are powerless if it's just for you. If I can only get a car for myself or this for that for myself, that's a foolish life. To me, success is the ability to come here and connect with you and say, we're doing this together. That's real power. It's not the title at the bottom of a card that you have in your wallet. So for me, I just, I grew up in Luling, Texas. I jokingly but seriously say it's such a small town. I was the only child born in the hospital that day in the entire town. The entire town. My mother's name is Mary. You might have read the story in the Bible. That was me. No. Shout out to the Christians who get the joke. But it's a true story. My mom was Mary, small town, single mom. My grandfather had a second grade education. He was a sharecropper. And for the kids, those are like farmers, but they work on the land that they don't own. And they get to take home a very small portion of the money that they earn. He could not read. And that was the first dad that I ever had. My biological father was not in my life. So I go home to this shotgun shack, and we're in New Jersey, but in Texas, a shotgun shack is one of those homes you look through the front door and you can see all the way through the back. That's the kind of home I came home to. And it was the best place in the world because I was loved, I was encouraged, and I was never made to feel less than. I didn't know poverty or these things because that wasn't my issue. My issue was just to be a kid and to have support. And my mom went on to become an educator and get her degree. And with my father, my stepfather who raised me, a military guy who ended up at 14 going into the Army because he said I couldn't bust tables anymore. I had to figure out a way to provide for my life. So the sharecropper, the single mom, and the 14-year-old who joined the Army are the fabric of who I am. And that is what success means to me, is that at some point, we're all the underdog. And if you think you're not, you are a fool. Because someone always thinks you can't do it. But I'm okay with that. I like to sneak in under. I like that. And so the kids that are associated with KIPP, New Jersey, and the whole system, you'll be told you're an underdog or, oh, well, you're not at this place or that. But I like that. I rather enjoy being in the company of underdogs because we always win in the end. Yeah. We do. And I heard from the intro, this is your first year.
Yes.
The leader.
Yes.
You're clearly loved, or you pay a lot. So they either love you or you paid them. I'm assuming it's because you're phenomenal at what you do.
I think with the hours that they work, there is no money that is enough to ever make them cheer. So thank you guys. But yes, I am currently the school leader at TEAM Academy, which has been a blessing every single day. I started out born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My family moved to Jersey. And as I was going to school there, I started thinking about college. And, had a little bit of a turbulent childhood. My father was addicted to drugs and caused my mother to get a separation my second year of college. So I moved from Rutgers, New Brunswick to Rutgers, Newark, where I got a work-study grant. And they gave me a job at the Friendly Full Center tutoring. And I completely fell in love with children and education and everything that comes with it. Started working at Newark Public Schools, had the opportunity to found at KIPP Academy in 2013, and now here I am, a school leader of TEAM Academy, our flagship school, where I have my fifth graders are actually some of the children I had as their kindergarten teacher. So it's quite special, and I am hoping that when 2026 gets to high school, that one of the high school leaders will give me a job, because I do plan on traveling with 2026. Oh, don't tell Ryan that. But yes, my love and my life is here, and I don't see myself educating anywhere else.
Ah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So I know you do this for a living, but I do need to like peek at my notes a little bit. Sorry. So you received an Emmy nomination in 2011 for an education segment called Teacher Town Hall. Just really excited to hear more about your belief in the vital role that educators play in children's lives.
I mean, other than my parents, the most important people in my childhood were my teachers. And it usually was the one I thought I didn't like in the beginning because they were so tough. In fact, when high school, I was in a magnet program in high school for broadcast journalism, of all things. And I remember the first day we had freshman orientation, and everyone said, don't take this woman, Miss Rose, Ernestine Rose, she's the worst. And it ended up on my form or whatever, and I'm like, oh, God, Ernestine Rose. Now, I graduated high school in 1988, so I don't even know what year it is, 2018. I still talk to Miss Rose. It's taking a break. 2019, so since 1984, when I walked in her class, till now, 2019, I still talk to Miss Rose. She changed my life. She introduced me to Intoshaki Shange and made me, learn the whole intro to Tales of Two Cities, and she broadened my horizon in a way that complemented what my parents were doing for me as a human being. As a student, she took me to the next level. And so I've never shrugged the importance of a teacher, and I know that, as I said, my mom went on to be a teacher, and you become everything to a child, a nurse, a friend, a therapist, a disciplinarian sometimes, and like you can do it, and encourage her. You're the total package. And I am grateful for that because, again, I was not the best student all the time. I dare to tell you, there are children in here, so I won't corrupt your young minds, but Ms. Hall did get in trouble a lot, as you can imagine. But the teachers, as I've learned from you and learning of the system here, you realize in that teacher town hall that I moderated that this idea of one child fits all is terrible. That you and KIPP, you recognize the individuality. And I think the teachers that were phenomenal in my life recognized that this is an individual, and even if the class is overwhelmed by the count of the number of students, teacher-student ratio, they found a way to treat me as an individual. And with KIPP, you have found that formula that works. And so when I was there in a room at the teacher town hall with, oh my gosh, probably 5,000 teachers from around the world, they all had that same desire to want to teach children on an individual basis and recognize how important that is. And I think that was the biggest lesson, because it is easy to believe that, oh, wow, teachers just see them as generic or in the generic system, and this is an aptitude test, and this test, this marker. But when you start breaking it down and speaking to educators like yourself on an individual basis from that special, it broke my heart that we weren't beating the drum more about how precious and valuable our teachers are and how you recognize the game has changed, and you've changed with it. And I think that that's been critical, because I think when we think of schools now and you see the local news and you see the college scandal and all these things, it makes it as if it's only about test scores. But then when you start talking to teachers and educators, you're making them a stereotype. These are men and women who care about the individual that is being produced and grown and loved, who will eventually leave this school. So I think that the Teacher Town Hall was a phenomenal opportunity, and BC hosted it for a couple of years. I wish it would go on. And honestly, I could probably think about 10 TV shows that are not mine that could be cut out so that teachers could have a forum to talk live and that people hear more about your experiences. Because I'm not running for office, I'm not a politician, I don't have to pander. It's just the truth. You're the most important person in a child's life other than their parents.
So So, speaking of parents and, what role do you think they play as they advocate for their children in education?
I mean, one of the things from the teacher town hall that I was exposed to that I'd never heard of, there was a group who said that they, teacher conferences, for example, and a lot of times parents will get a bad rap for not participating. In this particular school, they decided to change and move the parent-teacher conference to Sundays or Saturdays so that parents who were working, jobs or long hours could come on board and be a part of this puzzle in growing this child. And I thought that was the most phenomenal idea that I was like, come on. And yes, it required the teachers to give up a weekend. And that's hard because your families, and whether you have children or not, sometimes you just want to sit on your sofa and have ice cream and watch TV and decompress from a long day or a long week. But these teachers were willing to sacrifice their day off so that they could commune and vibe and get to know parents that maybe they thought were not involved. So I think that it's crucial. I mean, I watched my mom. My mom taught at an inner city school in Fort Worth, Texas. And I remember her coming home specifically just beat down because this parent had blamed her for all of the bad things that were happening with the child. And it created this adversarial situation to the point where my mom was ready to retire. And then you have this dad leaving thinking that my mom had done a disservice. And I think that it's a delicate relationship because as a parent, you want to be that superhero in your child's life, but every superhero has a great sidekick. Robin in Batman, he needed Robin. You need these people next to you. And I think that the relationship is critical. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding, especially when it comes to urban moms and dads. There's a stereotype that you don't care, or you're not there because you're not involved. It's easy to stereotype a single mom and assume things. You have parents who English is not the first language, so they have a hard time showing up. Or parents who can't read, and they have a hard time helping with homework. And then if you get the wrong teacher who judges, it's the conflict. And so I think that breaking down some misunderstandings and having that same openness as you did when you leave college and you want to become a teacher, having that openness with parents is critical because I see both sides of it. And again, that's not to be political. I got nothing to lose because I'm still going to go home safe after this. I'm just being real that I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. And the blame game never helped anyone. Never helped anyone. But I think listen, my mom checked my homework every night. Sadly. But she was involved. And if I didn't have that complementary relationship between Miss Rose and my mom, I wouldn't be here. Tell me a little, I want to ask you though, what's your philosophy? What motivates you to get to this point?
Well, first I want to say, thank you for sharing that. I think one of the things I do want to add on is that as educators, we do try to find the common ground because regardless of jobs and situation at home, what we do have in common is that we all want what's best for our children. And that is how you find the common ground with parents. It's like, I want the exact same thing you want. And they get to go home with you every night and have dinner, but we are here every day putting in also the work, and getting on the same page is part of what makes the magic happen.
Absolutely.
So every morning, what motivates me to drive up to 85 Custer Ave is making sure that my children feel known, honored, and celebrated. I know you're expecting, but I start my day off really early. If you ever want to come and visit one day, I'll be on campus at 7 a.m.
I'll trade you this. 25 years in morning TV, getting up at 3:30.
Right.
But I didn't have kids around.
Right,
so you win. You have the harder job for sure.
So even my day starting at 7 a.m. and arriving to campus, what you would see is all of my staff getting ready as children arrive and high-fiving and hugging, and they swap books that they're reading and they ask them what's the latest book that they were reading. And actually those weekends are filled with extra Algebra 1 classes and trips to go see their football games and all that fun stuff that we want from our staff, and making sure that our children feel loved, honored, and celebrated. And my job as the school leader is to make sure that that is happening, and that my teachers know that it is their responsibility to figure out where children are in order to take them where they need to go. Not every child is going to start off at the top, and it might take a week, months, years, but it is our job to meet them where they are and make sure that they reach their maximum potential. Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love this. This is amazing.
You know, really excited to also learn what's coming up next for you. Not only in the first, you know, immediate months or weeks.
No, weeks, days.
Yeah, but weeks. But also what's up next for you.
Well, I'm having a baby in a couple of days, weeks. That's the first thing. And I can only hope that my child is as fortunate. I know if my water breaks, we're going to be in trouble. I didn't know I was going to be this present at this showing when I said, oh, I'd love to come. I guess I didn't look at enough pregnancy videos to know you're this way.
You look amazing.
Thank you. But listen, it would be my dream that my son or daughter have someone in their life like you and is appreciated like you and many of the other educators here. You know, I love the philosophy of meeting people where they are, and we are now starting a daytime talk show. 9/9/19 is the premiere date for Tamron Hall show. It will be live in New York, so y'all can give a tour, come up. It'll be a live show, live studio audience. It's national. I think it's a great opportunity I have with Disney. But something that you said, from school to the show that we're doing, people want to feel loved, honored, and respected. And when we were creating the daytime talk show, you know, like, well, what do you want to do? You know, and I think it's been widely reported that I left my job at the Today Show. I did not have any idea what I was going to do, and I was like, oh, I'm 46, quitting a job. Who does that? But I did, because I feel like, and the same message I would want to share with your students is always bet on yourself. And so the day I left, I'm like, I'm leaving a national show, but I'm going to bet on myself. And I felt that there was an opening in daytime TV where you could have a conversation where you meet people where they are. And you can have a show with teachers and actually have it be an interesting, compelling show that people will watch and learn. And I'm learning in the process of life just like everyone else. So we're starting this show. It's been very exciting to be the executive producer of the show. Bill Gaddy, who executive produced The View, came out of retirement. He's like the Michael Jordan of TV. So it's like the old guy comes out like, yeah, dribbling real slow, but he's my guy, you know? So he's the executive producer of the show. We have a phenomenal team of diverse producers. It was important to me that women, people of color, the underdogs were represented on my show. And not that ABC had they were tremendously supportive, but I was like, listen, we're doing a daytime show for women. We need women. We need black women, brown women. We need women to talk and be represented. So we have a diverse staff of people who I think are going to help me put on what I hope is a successful daytime show. So that starts in September. And again, you guys can reach out and say, Tamron, remember you said you're going to give me tickets? I'll be like, who is this? Right. But I'll get you tickets.
Write it down.
I'll get you tickets. So I think it's exciting. And I'm inspired by your work and the work here because, again, I feel, you know, I've been on TV since I was 18. I've seen the best of what TV can do, and I've seen the worst of what it can do. And not just because of politics or whatnot that's going on, but we allow TV to make stereotypes of us all, including our children. And when you see someone who sees a mirror and they don't see greatness, they see a stereotype, shame on them. And so my show will show the greatness of a boy who walked out and kissed a woman's hand inappropriately. Joe Biden over here. I kid. I asked him to kiss my hand. But, you know, where you can have a real conversation about life and people. And if I can break down a stereotype where someone sees a mirror not as a gang member or, oh, he's from Newark or this, and they see him as the king he is, I've won. So I'm honored to be here. I wish you nothing but continued success. You roll with a deep crew that loves you. And, you know, I just want to, I need you in my audience.
You got started.
You know, And I just want to thank KIPP New Jersey for this opportunity. I mean, clearly, I had not announced my pregnancy when I accepted, but I knew in my mind this was the company I wanted to keep tonight, because this is going to be a part of my child's future. I mean, if you let him in one of the schools or her in one of the schools, don't tell anybody I just gave you the gender of my child. But you know, if my child is lucky enough to be in the presence of someone like you or be able to attend KIPP New Jersey or wherever, I'm a blessed mom.
Thank you.
So congratulations on everything you've done.
Well, we are extremely grateful, and our children have brought us something.
Oh my gosh! You just don't stop, do you two? Are you going home with me? No. Is that creepy? He said no. No. Thank you. Thank you. You made my day. Aw, thank you. So you'll be able to babysit? I don't know if it's legal, but when you're old enough, whatever, we'll talk to somebody and then we'll see. I need some help. I can't do this by myself. None of us can do this by ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give Ms. Avery and Ms. Hall another round of applause for joining us today and for being part of our celebration.